Hello everyone, Mike here for another read of my Sunday blog. Awesome to be with you, and heaps of people are enjoying this feed. I mean, I've recently, as you know, kind of transformed this feed into something a little bit different for the time being. So it's really great that people are listening and consuming the stuff on this feed. Of course, every Sunday I have a blog up on Substack at 8 a.m, but recently I have been doing audio versions of those blogs as well that go up on the Substack and on this feed. It's what you're listening to right now. Hello. The blog also contains a separate written section called Resonance. That is basically me talking about 4 or 5 things I enjoyed that week, whether it's like movies, TV shows, games, albums, restaurants, activities, events. Like, that's just a little whip around of my week. So yeah, aside from that, hit my YouTube. I'm nearly at 10,000 subscribers there, which is awesome. And on Instagram, I'm doing a bunch of vlog style content now. So always evolving and trying new stuff. Anyway, let's get into this week's blog. This one is called Why We Shouldn't Celebrate the Cancellation of 2 Australian TV shows. Enjoy! This week in Australia, huge announcements were made about the future of some long-running shows. Both Network 10's The Project and the ABC's Q&A will cease production pretty much immediately. While I think it's completely fine to have opinions about these 2 shows, I think it's disappointing to see people obnoxiously celebrating their cancellation. To be honest, over the years, I've been a fan of both The Project and Q&A. The former was a juggernaut when it launched nearly 20 years ago, with Carrie Bickmore, Dave Hughes, and Charlie Pickering at the helm. It was certainly unique. Bickmore and Hughes had been mainstays on Rove, Australia's late-night talk show, which was extremely popular at the time, particularly amongst teenagers like me. Shout out to Ryan Shelton's investigationing segment, which is, to this day, some of my biggest comedic inspiration. The Project was absolutely news done differently. It blended serious news with entertainment and comedy. It was a unique concept that worked. Q&A, on the other hand, slides more into public service television, being serious and political content where everyday Australians could ask questions and keep people and politicians to account. It was often gripping television, especially in its early days. Over the years, Q&A struggled to find an angle. Often it was accused of being too left-wing or too woke, which I'm uninterested in commenting on. The Project struggled with similar accusations, though ironically, I have heard it being described as both extremely woke and extremely right-wing. So honestly, I don't know where it stands. Putting politics aside, celebrating the demise or cancellation of these shows feels sanctimonious. I worked in mainstream media for 8 years. Not a massive stint, but enough to know that shows being cancelled and people losing their jobs as a result is part and parcel of the industry. When you work in an industry like ours, you accept the risk. The faces of this show, probably more so with The Project, where the hosts definitely fall more into celebrity territory than Q&A, definitely suffer the most. Though, often the industry agrees that as they're paid substantially more money than others, it's just part of the agreement. The real people who suffer from this? The production team, the writers, the camera crew, the floor managers, the audience warm-up staff. Basically, all of the talented and hardworking people that manage these shows behind the scenes and help bring them to air every night. The Project, for example, has likely kept hundreds, if not thousands of Australians employed for its entire run. It is a juggernaut production that requires many team members to pull off. Like it, love it, or hate it, there are normal, everyday people that woke up to this news not knowing where their next paycheck might come from. Shows like The Project and Q&A are also invaluable for younger Australians who want to enter the industry. In my second year of my communications degree at RMIT, Myself and a group of friends decided to go and watch a taping of the project. It was fantastic. It was amazing to be able to see a show like that taped live and everything that was involved in making it happen. Invaluable learning. Conceptually and fundamentally, Q&A feels like it will leave a large hole on the ABC. The ABC is a government broadcaster that has a responsibility to have a show like this. It acts as a public forum and an entry point for people to voice their concerns about the nation. I do hope that the ABC finds a suitable replacement that serves a similar purpose, as it's becoming increasingly difficult to find unifying and moderated spaces to do this. A show being cancelled isn't abnormal, especially at the point we find ourselves in. It's 2025 and the media industry is changing consistently. Personally, I argue that mainstream media has failed to keep up with modern viewing and consumption habits. Ironically, both the project and Q&A had incredible YouTube presences. It was a great way to consume the content of both shows at my own pace. I would watch highlights like this a lot. Even other ABC shows are starting to view YouTube as a more viable way to get younger people watching. In my mind, I put myself in the younger category, but I'm 30, so I don't think I classify as such anymore. I bumped into Will Anderson recently and spoke to him how amazing it is to see short clips from Gruen on YouTube. Will hosts the ABC series Gruen. I never catch Gruen on TV as it goes to air, but now that it's on YouTube, I watch almost every segment when I find time. It's one of my favourite shows on television, but I've never watched it on television. This is the future of what television should be like, but I'm unsure if the industry is ready to pivot. Certainly, in my experience with radio and podcasting, I sensed an industry that was falling behind and unable to move in a direction that really mattered. That's one of the reasons I decided to step away from the business I worked for. Ultimately, to celebrate the loss of the project or Q&A, regardless of your political persuasion, is to celebrate the loss of jobs, the loss of livelihoods, camaraderie, moderated public discourse, and most importantly, the coverage of Australian stories on television. Let's not celebrate these shows getting cancelled, even if you do believe they were due for the axe. Thank you so much for listening to that, guys. To be honest, that's probably one of my favourite pieces I've written in this blog, which has now been going for nearly 2 years. Go and subscribe on Substack and let me know your thoughts. Like, feel free to comment. I think Spotify has a little comment section, and as well as that, you can just DM me on Insta, email me, radiomikepod@gmail.com. You'll find me somewhere. I would love to hear from you. And can I ask, if you're still here at the end, if you're a long-term listener of my stuff or a long-term fan, I guess, of my stuff, maybe you're a 20th Century Boy fan from back in the day, maybe you're a fan of my YouTube stuff. If you've been around for a while, I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on what I'm doing now and what you like about it, maybe what you don't like about it. So yeah, get in touch with me any way you can. That is pretty much it from me, guys. Thank you so much. My name has been Radio Mike. This has been The Inside of My Mind. I'll catch you next week.